Flour has one ingredient. At least that's what I assumed when I picked up a bag at the grocery store last month and flipped it over. The front says 2 words. The back lists 7, including a bleaching agent and 5 synthetic vitamins that replace the natural ones. The milling process removed. I bought 9 bags from 4 stores, lined them up on my counter, and read every label. What those 7 words on the back are hiding is what this video is about. There's a smell some kitchens have on Saturday morning. Soft biscuits in the oven, a bag of flour with a little girl's face on it. That bag has been in Southern kitchens since 1899, when Richard Lindsay named his finest flour after his 3-year-old daughter, Martha White Lindsay. For decades, the brand sponsored the Grand Ole Opry, real bluegrass radio, real Southern kitchens, a mascot image that meant something to people who baked biscuits every week of their adult lives. Then the corporate clock started turning. Martha White sold it to Smucker's. Smucker's sold the baking division to Brynwood Partners, a private equity firm in Greenwich, Connecticut, in 2018. $375 million for one portfolio package that included Martha White, Pillsbury, White Lily, Hungry Jack, and Jim Dandy. The little girl's face is still on the bag. The decisions about what goes inside are now made by PE managers in Connecticut who have never set foot in a Southern kitchen. Once I started reading ingredient lists, I noticed something. After the word enriched, the same 5 names showed up on every bag. Niacin, reduced iron, thiamine mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid. Always 5, never 6, never 4. Those are the synthetics the FDA requires after milling strips away the originals. I call it the enrichment count, and the number never changes. Martha White genuinely performs differently for biscuits. The soft red winter wheat blend creates a lower protein flour that doesn't overdevelop gluten, and less gluten means more tenderness in a biscuit crumb. That recipe appears to have survived every ownership change so far, which is the only reason it lands here instead of lower. Arrowhead Mills has been organic since 1960, when Frank Ford started farming without synthetic pesticides in Hereford, Texas. That was decades before organic became a grocery store marketing term. USDA organic means no synthetic pesticides applied to the wheat, and it also means no potassium bromate, because organic standards prohibit it. Those are real protections, and I verified both through the USDA certification database. What I didn't expect was what happened behind the organic label. Hain Celestial, a publicly traded health conglomerate, acquired Arrowhead Mills in the 1990s. Then in 2019, when Hain needed to restructure, they sold Arrowhead Mills to Hometown Food Company for $15 million. Hometown Food is the Brynwood Partners portfolio company, the same Brynwood Partners that bought Martha White the year before. The organic flour and the Southern biscuit flour now share a corporate parent in Greenwich, Connecticut. One PE firm, 2 very different bags, both sitting on the same grocery aisle. I had to read the filing twice to believe it. The bag flip on Arrowhead comes back clean. No bleaching, no bromate, no enrichment. The organic seal protects what goes into the soil and what stays out of the milling process. What it doesn't protect is who sits in the boardroom making decisions about pricing, sourcing, and how long that organic commitment survives under a PE ownership model built around return on capital. That information isn't on any flour label anywhere. Great value all-purpose flour is often the cheapest flour on the shelf, sometimes under $1 a pound in the 25-pound bag. That price isn't unusual for a commodity product. What caught my attention wasn't the cost. It was how little the bag tells you about where the flour actually comes from. The ingredient list is short: bleached wheat flour, malted barley flour, and the 5 enrichment vitamins. No bromate, which is good, but no mill is named on the packaging. No wheat origin, no milling specification. I searched the bag, the Walmart product listing, and the company contact page. Nothing. Great Value is a private label, and Walmart contracts with third-party mills whose identities and contracts can change. When you buy gold medal, you at least know the flour came from General Mills facilities and passed their QC process, whatever its limitations. With Great Value, you know the price and the ingredient list. You don't know who made it or where. Flip the bag, no bromate. Bleached and enriched are both present. It bakes normally for sauces, batters, and breading. No recall history I could find. If budget is the deciding factor and the flour goes into a roux or a fried chicken batter, where the wheat origin won't change the outcome on the plate, it works. The concern here isn't what's inside. It's what you're not told about the path between the wheat field and your pantry. The Pillsbury Doughboy showed up in 1965, a little white figure with a chef's hat who giggled when you poked his belly. For decades, he was one of the most recognized mascots in American advertising. I wanted to know who owns him now, and the answer took me longer to piece together than I expected. Charles Alfred Pillsbury founded the company in Minneapolis in 1869. For a century, it was a Minnesota institution. Then, sold to a British conglomerate in 1989, acquired by General Mills in 2001, flour division forced out by antitrust regulators, and sold to Smucker's in 2004. Sold again to Brynwood Partners in 2018 for $375 million, 4 owners in 20 years. That single 2018 transaction moved Pillsbury, Martha White, White Lily, Hungry Jack, Arrowhead Mills, and Jim Dandy under one corporate roof. Since then, Brynwood hasn't slowed down. In June 2025, Hometown Food Company acquired Chef Boyardee from Conagra for $600 million. Revenue? Over $1.6 billion. The bag flip on Pillsbury Best reads the same as Martha White. Bleached, enriched, 5 synthetic vitamins. The label has changed hands 4 times. The formula inside hasn't. Pillsbury is available nationwide, performs reliably for everyday baking, and carries less recall history than the brand still ahead of it on this list. If you've baked with it for 40 years and the results meet your standard, that track record is real. Somewhere in this research, I found 2 bags where the ingredient list stopped me, not because of what was in it, but because of what wasn't. Those come later. Potassium bromate does something genuinely useful. It strengthens the gluten network during fermentation, speeds up mixing time, and gives dough a dramatic oven spring. New York pizza chefs have used bromated flour for generations. One described it as basically steroids for dough. The bakers who use it aren't being careless. They're using a tool that delivers real results in a professional kitchen. Gold Medal All Trumps is a food service flour made by General Mills, 14.2% protein, formulated for professional pizza and bagel production. Potassium bromate appears on the ingredient panel. You don't buy this at a grocery store. It comes in 50-pound bags to restaurants. But if you've eaten pizza or a bagel in New York in the past decade, you've almost certainly eaten it. The World Health Organization flagged potassium bromate as a possible carcinogen in 1992. The UK, Canada, the EU, China, Brazil, and India all banned it. The FDA last formally reviewed its safety in 1973. California banned it in 2023, effective 2027. New York passed the Food Safety and Chemical Disclosure Act in April 2026. Senate 60-0, Assembly 106-32. Flour distributors will have 1 year to sell through bromated stock. After that, the flour behind some of the most famous pizza in America becomes illegal to sell in the state where it's most iconic. The tall white bag, the flour some families kept in a separate spot, not for every recipe, just for Sunday. White Lily was Sunday flour in Tennessee and Georgia, across the Carolinas. Founded in Knoxville in 1883, named after founder J. Allen Smith's wife, Lily. Soft red winter wheat, 9% protein, ground fine. That low protein is why White Lily biscuits split open and steam. Less gluten means the structure gives way instead of chewing back. In 2007, the mill moved from Knoxville to Toledo, Ohio. Bakers said the biscuits changed. What the company didn't emphasize, White Lily is bleached with chlorine gas, a processing agent that flows through the grain during milling. It whitens the wheat and chemically weakens the proteins. That tenderness is partly the soft wheat, partly the chemistry. White Lily now belongs to Hometown Food Company, same Brynwood, same PE portfolio as Martha White, Arrowhead, and Pillsbury. After learning about chlorine gas, I tried something at home. I put a teaspoon of bleached flour and a teaspoon of unbleached flour side by side on a dark plate. The difference was immediate. Bleached, bright white. Unbleached, a faint ivory like cream. That cream color is what wheat actually looks like. The white is the chemical. I've been calling it the cream test. White Lily makes better biscuits than most flour in its range. The 9% protein is real, but the mill is in Ohio, the bleaching agent is chlorine, and the corporate parent owns 4 brands in this video. 3 recalls, 7 years, 1 plant. Gold Medal is the #1 selling flour in America, the bag most people grew up watching their mothers reach for. I reached for it too. Then I lined up the recall dates. 2016 E. coli contamination. The recall expanded 3 times as the outbreak grew. 30 million pounds pulled from shelves. 63 people sick across 24 states, 17 hospitalized. Traced to the General Mills plant in Kansas City, Missouri. Root cause never officially identified. The plant kept running. 2019 E. coli again. Same facility, 600,000 pounds recalled, no root cause released. 2023 Salmonella. Same Kansas City plant. Over 400,000 bags. 14 people sick across 13 states, 3 hospitalized. Same address, 3 different pathogens, 7 years. I looked up the plant on a map at industrial property rail yards north of the Missouri River. I'm not drawing a conclusion from that geography, I'm saying I looked it up. And the pattern of undisclosed root causes is the part that stayed with me. Raw flour is not a sterile ingredient. It doesn't go through a heat kill step the way most processed foods do. The consumer assumption that dry flour is inherently safe is the same assumption the industry depends on. The bag flip clears bromate. Bleached and enriched are both there. But the bag flip doesn't catch contamination history, and that's the limitation of the test. If the most trusted flour in the aisle has this track record, what does a flour without one look like? Every brand in the bottom 8 runs the same sequence. Mill the wheat, strip the bran and germ, apply a chemical to the color, add 5 synthetic vitamins to meet federal standards. Sell it under whatever name carries trust on that shelf. The question underneath all of it, why does a product that starts as one ingredient need a chemical treatment and a 5-vitamin patch to sit on a shelf at scale? And if that's the playbook, what does flour look like when someone decided not to run it? The first one I found has a different color when you pour it. A faint ivory instead of bright white. It smells like grain instead of nothing. Those differences are small. The reasons behind them aren't. Stone milled, unbleached, no synthetic vitamins added, owned by the people who make it. Bob Moore founded this company in 1978 in Milwaukee, Oregon, after he and his wife Charlie discovered a set of quartz millstones from the 1880s. Most commercial flour today is milled on high-speed steel rollers that process grain at high heat, and that heat degrades some of the natural oils and nutrients before the bran and germ are stripped away. Quartz stones grind more slowly at lower temperatures, preserving more of what the wheat actually contains through the milling process. For over 40 years, corporations offered to buy. Bob refused. On his 81st birthday in 2010, he gave the company to his employees through a stock ownership plan. By 2020, Bob's Red Mill was 100% employee-owned. Bob passed away in February 2024 at 94, still on the board. The flour is unbleached. The ivory color from the cream test is exactly what it looks like out of the bag. Enriched doesn't appear on the label because nothing was stripped in the first place. The natural vitamins that were in the wheat are still there. Here's the number most buyers skip protein per serving. With flour, that number tells you what the wheat is and how it behaves. 2 to 3 grams means soft wheat for biscuits and pastries. 3 to 4 is the all-purpose range. Bob's sits at around 11% consistent batch to batch, meaning reliable gluten development for yeasted breads and pizza without needing a specialty flour. I've been calling this the protein read, and it's the one test that tells you more about a flour than the brand name ever will. For any baker replacing gold medal 1-for-1 substitution, same measurements, same recipes. The flavor will be slightly more present because the wheat character wasn't chemically whitened away. Honest limitation, not certified organic on the standard line. Conventionally grown wheat may carry trace glyphosate. A 2025 independent test found elevated levels in their gluten-free line specifically. If that matters, their organic line, or King Arthur Organic, is the cleaner path. Founded in 1790, when George Washington was in his first term. That makes King Arthur the oldest flour company in America, milling continuously for 236 years. The company started in Boston as the Sands Taylor and Wood Company. The brand name came in 1896, chosen to signal purity at a time when adulterated flour was a real consumer concern. Bakers were adding chalk bone dust and alum to stretch flour and whiten it cheaply. King Arthur named itself against that practice. Never bleached, never bromated is printed on the bag, and it means exactly what it says. Unbleached hard red wheat from American farms, no chlorine gas, no benzoyl peroxide, no potassium bromate, no synthetic enrichment. Flip the bag over 2 ingredients. Wheat flour and malted barley flour, 2 lines not 7. Protein at 11.7%, and that number is tested by actually baking a sample from every batch before it ships. The QC step of baking the flour before releasing it is not standard in this industry. By 2004, King Arthur was 100% employee-owned. In 2007, they became a founding B Corporation. They later converted to a Vermont Benefit Corporation, a legal structure that makes it genuinely difficult for a future board to abandon the mission under acquisition pressure. For weekly bread bakers, the 11.7% protein consistency matters more than any brand story. It sits at the high end of the all-purpose range, which means the same bag handles sandwich bread, pizza dough, and standard baking without needing a separate bread flour. For bakers replacing a bleached flour, same measurements, same recipe, slightly more flavor because the wheat was never whitened. The honest limitation, a 5-pound bag runs $1 to $2 more than gold medal. Better sourcing, cleaner processing, employee ownership tested protein consistency, and 236 years of continuous milling. Whether that extra dollar fits the weekly budget is your call. If a label says enriched, something was stripped first. Enriched means patched, not improved. That applies to bread, cereal, and pasta too. If the front of the bag says one word and the back lists 6 chemicals, read the back. If a brand has changed hands 3 times in 20 years, the people who built it aren't deciding what goes inside. Since this research, the flour I reach for has 2 ingredients on the back. The extra dollar turned out to be the simplest call in the store. There's a flour brand that didn't make either list, one you've been loyal to or curious about. Which one? This video left me with 4 habits: the bag flip, the enrichment count, the cream test, the protein read. 30 seconds in the aisle, any bag of flour tells you what the front of the package won't. Every shelf in the store has this story. That's what this channel does. The front of the bag still says 2 words, the back still says 7.